Welcome back to Techknow Tuesday, Season 3, Episode Dos. I'm Phil Malone.
I'm Kendrick Bender.
Today we have some stuff. I have Gurlz in Science, special interview with Sarah Hulskamp.
I have some information, which is where we look at the FTC forums and sometimes the Reddit for different topics.
All right, and I have Giant Drinking Bird Robot. Yeah, let's do it. So today, special Techknow Tuesday day. It's like Ladies' Day today at Techknow Tuesday. I got a whole bunch of fun stuff about women in engineering stuff, but we have our special guest, Sarah Hulskamp, with us today. And she's going to tell us all about a project she's doing. It's pretty cool. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so this summer I applied to become an Engineer Girl Ambassador, and it's through the National Academy of Engineering. And I was accepted into the program. So for this, I have to complete a project with young girls in my area. So I'm going to focus on the after-school 4-H groups that we have at elementary schools. And I'm going to create a website that talks about different types of engineering and what some women engineers have made in those fields. And then I'm also going to complete like a short programming activity with the kids using a circuit playground.
Cool. So how many people get to do this each year?
So this year there were 16 girls selected. I believe last year there were about 8.
Wow. Any idea how many total entries they get? No, it doesn't matter. Sorry. Got to get that top tier there. So okay, so you're gonna do a project here, but you get to do a little traveling here as well, right?
Yeah. So November 5th, I'll be going to Anaheim, California, for the Society of Women Engineers conference, where I'll get to meet all the other ambassadors and talk to different engineers.
Cool. Okay, so here's the big question. So, of course, when I went through engineering, there were no women in engineering at all. Maybe radiology, because they were going to go into the medical side of things. But, I mean, to me, it seems like everything's changed. But how do you see your engineering future? What do you see happening out there? Do you feel it's going to be tough being a girl in engineering?
I think not in the future, because, there's so many girls that are doing engineering now. And even with, this program, they're still getting, experience for engineering. So I think there will be more women engineers.
So what is your engineering future? What are you looking to do?
So I'm either looking to do electrical engineering or pediatrics.
Pediatrics? Wow, this is totally different.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to wire up those people here. Okay. So what's I can't think of what I want to ask you. Okay, so you said you were going to do the after school 4-H. Mm-hmm. So how many kids is that likely to be? What do you think? How many sessions, and what do you think you're going to do there?
So right now we're only looking at a couple elementary schools because originally there were more after school 4-H programs than there are now. But when I first did my research with one of our 4-H people.
Leaders.
Yeah, leaders. There were about 30 people total in the after-school 4-H program. So I'm expecting maybe half of that.
Right.
And then I'm looking into going with Girl Scouts later.
Oh, cool. So now the project and everything you do, this is something that then can be replicated?
Yeah.
So maybe either someone else will take it on or you do some other sessions later?
Yeah.
Cool. So I was looking around today. Funnily enough, it wasn't planned to do this, but something I noticed, I was looking for cool robot toys, to see what's going on. And do you know what the latest robot toy is? It's mobile gadgets for girls to put their dolls on. This is crazy. So it's like Segways, so you remote control them. But I found an educational site that was using the programmable Segway that you put your Barbie or other doll on to teach programming, which I thought was pretty. What do you think about that?
I think it's a really cool thing because it's teaching girls about programming and engineering when they're really little, and then they'll be able to stick with it throughout life.
Yeah. So it was Smart Gurlz was the company. SMARTGURLZ Gurlz. I don't know where that came from. Everyone likes Z's. So so check it out. But it was interesting that girls on hoverboard. There's actually one where they're on a drone, which is kind of freaky. But cool. All right. And other girl news. New coin coming out thanks to Dean Kamen and First and people like that. So what's that all about?
So first is, created a coin to commemorate Krista McAuliffe, who was one of the teachers that was selected for the Challenger space mission. And whenever we were in a competition, he had us all try to get the coin passed, and we actually got it passed a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so they asked
Yeah.
everyone to write to their
Senators,
or whatever,
something like
'cause
that.
They needed like 123
Yeah.
votes or something, and they got it. So it's the
Yeah.
first coin that's been approved for a long time, apparently. So it was pretty cool. So it's a statement for science, yay, for women, yay, for teachers, yay, and for first.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. All right, well, we're going to let you go now because I know you have to go home and do homework and stuff like that. So thanks for dropping in.
Thanks.
So, I've got some information today.
Information.
Bringing back one of our old segments.
All right.
So, this past week, they posted an update to Game Manual Part 1.
Uh-oh.
They updated the allowed list of phones.
Uh-oh.
I personally know some teams that were affected by this.
Really? So they got rid of some phones?
Yeah, so the Moto G Play was taken out of the list.
No.
Which is the one that
No,
we're using.
no. They can't do that.
There's
The G4 Play?
the G4 Play is still allowed.
Okay.
The regular G Play, Moto G Play is not allowed
Wait,
anymore.
there's a G Play? I thought the G4 was the Play.
There's a G4 Play, a G3 Play, and a G2 Play.
No. I don't know. I mean, the sequence I remember is first there was a G2 that came out pretty early, like second year. Then they added the G4 Play the next season. That's what they were selling. That's what was coming from the first store, G4 Plays.
Okay.
But I don't know about just a straight Play. See, they can't do it by the name because if you open up the phone and look at the phone ID, it doesn't say any of those things.
See, that's what made me think that our phone wasn't allowed anymore, because when we go into the About Phone section, it says Moto G Play. And since that's not in the name list, according to the forum post anyway, that would make it not allowed anymore.
Yeah, I think we probably need to get that
So-
clarified as to when they say what's allowed, it should at least include what the phone says. You know, if this phone is allowed, what does the phone say when it identifies itself?
Right.
So that because I mean, the big problem is that the inspectors have to check this.
Yeah.
How are they meant to check it?
So the only other way you can check it is if you have a receipt or something that
Yeah,
shows like
which is-
what's it called
yeah,
whenever you
which is
went
silly.
to buy it. So
You got to look at you got to do the about on the phone to see what kind of phone it is.
right.
Yeah. Probably though, you know what it turns out is like if your phone works, it's probably allowed. The ones that aren't allowed are the ones that clearly don't work. You know, so
Right.
you know,
Well, and that's the other thing. Like the ZTE speeds are still allowed.
this year, not next year. They're just
Right.
allowing them next year. I have so many of those.
Yeah. So we were kind of concerned that we might have to switch back to the ZTE speed phones instead of our Moto G phones that we were using last year.
I can't believe that though. I got to believe that those ones you have are legal.
They're
I'll-
they
I'll-
might be
I'll talk to Tom.
G4s
I'll
that
talk to Tom. See what we'll have to get those things sorted out.
it might be G4s that come up on the about screen as just
Just happen to be G4 plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it does not show the number. Yeah.
Okay, we just so happen to have.
This is the G4. All right, so I'll turn this on while you're talking there, Mr.
Well,
Gideon.
it looks exactly the same as ours.
Yeah, all right.
So,
All right, so that's interesting. So, yeah, well, to be continued, obviously, on that one.
right. Another big thing in the forums, not just this past week, but just kind of so far this season, has been compressed air systems.
Oh, really?
Because obviously everybody wants to use vacuum systems for. So a lot of teams have a similar idea of trying to use some sort of vacuum
Suction,
system
right.
to hold on to the blocks. And reading through the forum posts, they're allowing vacuum systems, but no air storage systems.
Right.
So you can,
Because in theory, a vacuum system can only generate 15 psi,
right.
which is pretty harmless.
Yeah. So you
Good
can,
luck trying to create any kind of vacuum.
right. So, a lot of posts are like, is this particular vacuum pump legal? Is it considered,
Yeah, Moto G4, G Play. But this
Okay.
is a G4 though.
Yes. So that's going to be interesting then to see.
So when you say you're saying that Moto G4 Play, so Moto G Play is excluded or just not included?
It's not included.
Okay, so yeah,
So-
they need to clarify that, don't they?
Yeah. because the only way you would be able to tell is either from the about screen like that, or
I don't think a receipt would say either. I don't think anything's going to say.
right,
Maybe the box might say it.
or like the website you bought it from might have it as part of the name, but of course you might not have any of that at the competition unless you.
Pretty likely that you won't have any of it.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, at one point, but getting back to your previous thing, at one point, I was thinking of a sucking system, but it would just be a fan.
Right.
I don't know how you generate. You're not going to generate enough vacuum with a vacuum pump, probably. And they're noisy, and you'd have to adapt it to an existing motor, which would be a pain.
Current draw would be a big thing with those, I would think, as well.
Yeah.
Any sort of.
Well, especially if you had to run it continually, it would take. Whereas a fan wouldn't be too bad. You take the motor, take the gearbox off, and put the little fan, like a muffin fan blade, directly on the motor shaft.
Right.
That'd probably give you enough. The thing that I realized is, there's all this fuss about what motors are legal, and obviously they don't want these super high powered motors, but no one's producing a small or lower powered motor, which is really weird because in a lot of cases you want a lightweight small motor gearbox combination.
Yeah, you want something a little beefier than a servo, but
yeah,
So
it'd be really nice if there's a whole slew of motors out there that there's a couple of brands that have a whole bunch of they're just little circular motors about half-inch diameter, about an inch long, with different gearboxes you can put on them. And that'd be great for collectors, intake mechanisms, fans, just little stuff, flappers, I don't know what.
Right.
Really need it. I mean, people are having to resort to the Vex 292, I can't remember the number, the servo that's actually the motor. They use it a lot as a drive motor on a small Vex robot. But they're kind of weird. Several things are wrong with them. A, they have a square shaft. B, you need a separate motor controller for it. And I just looked the other day, and the plug that comes on the motor controller looks like a servo plug, but it's actually the wrong sex. It's got pins instead of... it's got pins instead of sockets, so you can't plug it into any of the existing stuff we have.
Right.
So you have to resort to cutting it off and doing this. Really what they should have allowed, I don't know why they don't allow this, they should have said, okay, you can use this motor, but you don't need the little speed controller. You just take the plus and minus coming out of the motor and plug it into a motor controller output.
Right.
It's going to be way underpowered compared to a regular motor. And that way you'd have a motor small, about so big, that you could run out of a motor controller. Or one of the new, the Spark Minis, which is essentially what the Vex little motor controller is.
Right.
So, yeah, it's lacking. It's something that we need, I think, a small motor.
Something kind of in between.
Well, something you can put on the end of an arm without having to add a pound of weight to the end of your arm, basically. That's always the problem.
Yeah, especially... like last year, whenever we had all these arms reaching way out with the collectors on there,
Yeah.
Ideally, you would have a DC motor out there that could power it, but then that adds a lot of weight out there.
Yeah. So you end up doing not crazy, but you need to bring the motors back and put shaft drives or chain drives or whatever on it to keep the weight away from the end.
Right.
Which is good engineering, but it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Is that your two big forum posts?
What's that?
That's your two
Those
big
are the two big takeaways from the forum.
Got it.
For now.
Excellent. I've been actually looking at some reveal videos just to see what's out there in terms of robots right now, and there isn't the obvious game killer robot out there yet. It's either not out there or they're not showing us one or the other. There's some
I would
fairly
think not showing.
Yeah, probably. There's some there's pretty nice ideas, some concepts, but it is funny watching reveal videos because for you people out there making reveal videos, I got some tips for the average person like me who wants to look at them. Forget the big intros. No one wants to watch that big intro. It doesn't help. But do remember to put your team name and team number several places. Put them at the beginning and put them in the description or the title. I can't believe how many videos I'd see a robot and go, oh, that's kind of cool, and I have no idea whose it is. Nothing in the comments. It's like first robot FTC robot reveal. It's like no team number on the robot anywhere. It's like, can't give you any credit for that, guys.
Right. So you have no idea who it is.
That's right. But I was looking at a few like 14525 Terabats, which was kind of cute. They had a really interesting demo, and they showed a cool autonomous sequence for positioning the foundation. Basically, they just go out, grab it, pull it in, let it go, and then they scoot out sideways, forward, and then push it in sideways. So it's like a back and cross mechanism.
Okay.
So they basically aligned it. They pushed it up against the back wall, so now it's aligned on the back wall, and it's in the little triangle, like in the build zone, which it has to be.
Right.
So it occurred to me. I mean, I was thinking that we'd want to like flip it around, take it and spin it all the way around. But in actual fact, that makes it. You have to travel further to get to it. So by leaving it out lengthways, it's actually closer to where the blocks are. So
Gives you just a little bit less distance.
Yeah,
to go.
a couple of feet less you have to drive, which is good.
Yeah.
I got the 9445 loading ... That one of the Garrett County teams. Their demo, their video is pretty cool. They got they can stack the blocks and stuff like that. It's not particularly speedy, but it's pretty functional considering how they had it for the robot in 3 days thing.
Yeah, it's something that's working fairly early in the season.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, 7129. Once again, didn't have the team name there that I could see, but they got a pretty nice mechanism. A little parallelogram up, pretty solid grabbing, finger grabbing mechanism for the top of the block, which is pretty nice. I really like that.
That's something I noticed on the FTC Reddit anyway, was a lot of parallel bar lifts are what's on there right now.
Yeah.
I imagine as the season goes on, we'll probably see a lot more linear lifts.
Right.
Maybe a few scissor lifts.
Maybe a scissor lift. Who knows? You're talking to the kings of scissor lifts here, so it's possible, How tall can you go?
Yeah.
16 feet's not a limit. All right. So, yeah, team names and numbers. Soundtracks, okay, fine. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
But keep them short. That's the key, name of the game, Keep your videos short and then people are going to watch them.
Right.
All right.
Unless it's a podcast.
Yes, and then you can go as long as you like because we're having fun chatting about stuff. Okay, I got a couple of things. But you got anything else you want to do, Mr. Kendrick?
So this past week, our team managed to
Which
get
team
our...
is that?
13975 Extreme Steam.
All right.
Managed to get our drivetrain all together and
Sweet.
zipping around on the field.
What kind of drivetrain?
So it's a CNC laser cut and bent frame, and then we have 2 solid high traction wheels and 2 Omni wheels on the opposite end of the robot. 4 motors driving that, and it's a 20-to-1 gearbox on the motors, and then a 1-to-1 from the motors.
Not a 20-to-1 Andy Mark, though, right?
No.
Okay.
It's the Rev Robotics.
Don't love those gearboxes.
So yeah, it's crazy how fast that is. It's actually like the wheels are slipping more than anything. So we had it programmed to run at 3 different speed levels. We have a slow mode, a normal standard driving mode, and then a turbo mode that we can put it into. And you can't tell the difference between turbo mode and the normal mode because whenever it takes off, it just spins the wheels. And
Are you running in run with encoder mode on your wheels at this point?
yes. Yeah.
So it should have good speed control at slow speeds. Good.
Yeah, one problem that we're going to be dealing with, though, is the chains are a little bit slack right now. I think there is like a problem with the math on the spacing from the motors to the...
I don't know why it's impossible to get
wheels.
that right. It just never seems to... Should be like, okay, it's an even number of this. It's perfectly good. And then you do it, and it's like... Oh.
Yeah, so I think we're pretty close to a half link off, unfortunately, but...
Well, you can get half links, so it's okay.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to fix it. And
Right. In
take that
theory,
slack out.
if you have the same sprocket on the motor and the wheel, you should just have to have an integral number of chain spacings between the holes. So if it's 1/4 inch chain, 1/4 inch spacings, or even 1/8 of an inch spacings, but mainly 1/4 inch is what you really want.
Yeah.
It should work perfectly, but once you change your sprocket sizes, then you're in trouble.
Right. Yeah, biggest takeaway from this season so far is those ball bearings are really good.
Which ball bearings?
For mounting the shafts on for like wheels.
Which ball bearings?
From Rev.
Okay.
They're flange bearings, so they just pop into a hole and axle can run through them, and it makes it
What holds the bearing in?
just a set screw on the axle, or
Is it a snug fit
it's
into
just-
the chassis, or is it a?
it's just so it's a flanged bearing, so it's got an inner
Pushing it from one
diameter,
side.
and then it's got like a flange
Right.
on the other side to keep it from going through the plate,
Right.
and then just whatever's on your axle would hold
Oh,
it
so you need
in from the other
you
side.
need a
Yeah, so we have a set collar
collar
on our axles
right.
to hold them in place. But they work really well. Like, you can just give the robot a little push whenever you don't have the motors hooked up, and it'll just roll
forever.
across the whole room, you know?
Yes, I tend to agree. We're building with the Go Builder chassis and mechanics, and they also do everything with bearings and with 1/4-inch shafts. And yeah, I mean, it's a whole different world. I mean, we'd be living in the Stone Age when it comes to bushings and plastic things and brass bushings and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a huge improvement over the bushings.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was good in its time, but now I think the robots have gone beyond that, so we need something decent.
right.
Yeah. Cool.
It's just another step up
Yeah.
in how nice the robots can be.
Yeah. Speaking of nice robots,
Nice robots?
yeah, I'm addicted to Boston Dynamics. I just can't not watch their videos. I assume everyone out there in the robot world knows everything about Boston Dynamics. It was there Boston Dynamics, and it was owned by Google, and it's back to Boston Dynamics.
Yeah.
But they're always pushing they come up with these crazy robots that just seem to get better and better all the time. The Atlas robot, the humanoid robot, now is doing parkour and backflips and rolling.
Right.
Okay, here's what I'm waiting for the Atlas robot. I want to see 2 Atlas robots dancing together, like foxtrot or waltz or something. I think it'd be really insanely
Coordinated
crazy.
dancing.
What's that?
Coordinated dancing.
Yeah, I mean, because and you could do it under the auspices of robot to robot interaction, something like
Right.
that. But I think it'd be amazing. But two videos. One video I saw for the first time today. They've got 10 of the Spot dog robots, like in 2 rows, 5 and 5, all lashed together, pulling a Mack truck.
Yeah.
It's the craziest video. Look, wait, is the video here, Kendrick?
Sure.
It could be the video could be right here. It's like what are these guys doing? Where are they thinking up this stuff? Why are they? But yeah, so and it's a Mack truck that is a Boston Dynamics truck, which of course makes sense. And
Right.
apparently they're pulling it up a 1 degree grade or something like that. But it's the craziest thing. But the other robot that's been around for quite a while that it's going to freak people out is the I forget the name of it again. It is what is the name of the robot? It's the handle robot, and I like to think of it as a ostrich with a big butt because it looks like a giant bird, like the drinking birds
Yeah.
would go down
The
and had the
dust
little
toys.
red thing on their butt
Yeah.
full of water. That's what this thing looks like, but it's on wheels and it's a materials handling robot. So it just races around, and every time it moves, it swings this butt weight in and out to be the major counterbalance for this long arm that is used to pick stuff up. So it's got the suction cups on it, and the video is the best because it's showing it taking boxes off of shelves and putting them on a packing crate. But it would be crazy to see these things, to be in a place where they're roaming around at high speed, like this video. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do next, but it's like they're running out of cool ideas. It seems like there's 2 companies that have cool robots. There's the Boston Dynamics, and then there's the Festo. The Festo does all of these really lightweight ones, like the Flying Bird one and the
Right.
and robots like that are really innovative because of how different they are. Not particularly practical in
Right.
any sense, but they show off their technology, which is why they do it, I guess.
Boston Dynamics kind of come up with those robots that whenever you very first hear about it in concept, it doesn't sound like it would necessarily work or it would look really
Right.
funny, and then you see a video of it and it's really cool.
It's gone beyond what looks real. I mean, for a while, their robots, they always looked like robots. Or if it was a really smooth robot, you'd say, oh, there's a person in that robot suit. That's how robots in
Right.
movies and stuff. And now, the real Boston Dynamic robots are more realistic than the animated ones, it seems to me, like the motions and the actions and stuff. The cheetah robot and the dog robot and this handle robot. But anyway,
Right.
looking forward to cool stuff there.
Yeah.
Another fun thing, robot toys. I thought, hey, I'm going to check out, see what the latest robot toys out. Get on Google, search for robot toys. There's a crazy variety of toys out there that are robotic. We were talking either earlier or soon, depending on where we edit this in the video, about the robots for girls that are basically segways or hoverboards that you put your dolls on and they cruise around, and then you can program them and do stuff like that. So it's teaching programming. So you use Scratch to create the program that drives these things around through your phone.
Right.
But there's other weird stuff. Like there's a robot series called Butthead that You know, the robots, and it's got like a human butt sticking out the back of it. It's the weirdest thing. Santa robot with a ray gun. What's up with that? I know. But anyway. Self-balancing robot that's a dinosaur with wheels. It's a little dinosaur.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who thinks up this stuff? Anyway, enough of that.
All right. So I think that's all we have for today. So
Really? That's it? That's
That's
all we
it.
got?
it's done.
All right.
I'm cutting us off.
We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.